step 2. So this is coming off of our series on the 12 steps and how to work the steps for people who may not be familiar with them, or for people who are in recovery and who want to have a different perspective, or I don't know. I always like a reminder on working steps because I can get complacent and
Me too.
just not work them.
Me too.
So we did step 1. Step 2 says we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you come right off of step 1, because the steps are in order for a reason.
They are.
The word powerless is in step 1. If I admit that I'm powerless over my addiction, that I have no control over it, then what am I left with? I'm just left with a hole, and I've got nothing to fill it with.
That's right.
And so in step 2, we have got to find that power, or believe that there is something out there that can restore us to sanity. And when I think about sanity in the language of the steps, I more think about wholness. Yeah. Because I think we kind of waste ourselves away with addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And
a lot of us call it normal.
Yeah, just some kind of normalcy, some kind of wholeness where we can be okay.
Right.
Just okay living life.
Because usually by that point, we're so past the point of having a good time that we're taking it just to feel sane.
Right.
You know?
And I think logically, if we're sitting down and trying to work the steps, then it's pretty clear that we're not able to do this on our own.
Well, we've already admitted that we're powerless over our drug. So we've already admitted, if you've done it the correct way, that something else is stronger than we are.
Right.
So it's not a stretch to believe there's another power greater than you that can help you.
Right.
Not hurt you.
Well, yeah, because addiction has been a power greater than me in my life.
It is.
It's not now because I found a better power.
Right.
But at one point it is. I think the first thing we have to think about is that in some ways, if we can just start with the group, the fellowship, as a power greater than we are. If we can just start there, especially for people that get a little bit sketchy about the idea of higher power and all this stuff.
Right.
Realize that more of us is a greater power than just me, and that I don't have to do this alone. And then also in the second step, I think there's a really important spiritual principle, and it's hope. Hope is a spiritual principle of step 2.
Great.
We have got to feel or have a willingness to believe that there's some hope that I'm going to be okay without my addiction.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm going to wake up someday and I'm going to feel good and I'm going to be able to live life without having to put a drug or a drink in my body continuously just to be okay.
And we're already in that journey where we are putting there's got to be some light at the end of that tunnel.
There has to be.
Because it is crawling. It's the Shawshank Redemption prison escape.
It is.
We are crawling.
And that letting go of our drug it can be so traumatic. It can be withdrawals, it can be depression, it can be grief. If we just let ourselves fall into that pit, we're either going to fall so far down into that place that we're not going to come back, or we're just going to go back to what we were doing.
Because it's easier.
Yeah, it's much easier. And so having hope is really the difference between suffering with purpose, which is what the withdrawal can be, or just falling into complete despair.
Right.
So I think that with step 2, we make our recovery we make it purpose driven.
Yeah.
And the driver of that purpose is a belief in a higher power.
It is.
It gives it meaning to where we're not just like, what am I even doing this for?
Right. It's like you said, hope is the driving factor,
right.
is the gas in the tank.
Yes, it is.
This time I'm going to do it, right? How many times have I said that?
Well, but you know, the difference between the times that we get recovery and the times that we don't is that when we do, we're in the context of a community.
And I never did that.
Right.
That was my mistake.
Because the shame
I thought
and
I
secret,
could do it.
Yeah.
I never admitted that I was powerless. That's it. It all connects.
It does.
I never did. So I never let myself. I was too ashamed. I could do it no matter what. I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't want to go into fellowship. And as soon as you go into fellowship with other people, guess what happens? there's hope.
And I
'Cause
think
you see people.
we probably in our heart of hearts admit that we're powerless to ourselves 1,000 times.
For sure.
But in step 1, we have to admit it to other people.
Yeah.
That's the step. That's the thing to do.
It is. It's all a switch, man. It's turning that switch, and it.
Things that we can do for step 2, the action that we can take is go to meetings, get phone numbers of people who are in recovery and start calling those people. I would say get 3 phone numbers of people in meetings and call them and start to build a relationship with those people. The other thing that you can do on your own for step 2 is make a gratitude list. Give yourself a little bit of hope by understanding that even without my addiction, even when I'm not feeding my addiction, I can be grateful for something.
Mm-hmm.
And that can show me that there's something working in my life more than the addiction.
You know what was very helpful for me too was watching a lot of videos, and there's a lot of meetings that are recorded that
Yes.
you can listen to, you know, and there's so many resources out there like this podcast that you can spend your time doing that will keep your mind off of other things and give you hope.
That's right.
Because there is hope. That's the beautiful thing about it,
That's
man.
the whole message of recovery, is that we don't have to live in our addiction. There is hope.
There is hope.
We are only powerless as so long that we don't start doing this recovery thing. And the method is all laid out for us. It's all there, but we cannot do it alone.
Yep. Good stuff, man.
Cool. Thank you.